So are you saying you got to a point in the relationship where you felt smothered?
Where I felt like I couldn't go nowhere. Where I felt like I stuck in the house 24/7. He just want to lay up under me, and I cannot go anywhere.
Are you serious?
Yes, Your Honor.
I kid you not. She came to the club with the baby on her arm yelling, "You are the father, this is your baby. Why aren't you taking care of your baby? You're a deadbeat dad."
Miss Hensley, you never.
I never had my baby. Not only the club though, Yana, she's coming to the studio.
Quickly, she became a hoochie, and that's what it was all about.
Excuse me, is that proper language to use for a young woman?
Well, you know, in Hosea chapter 4, God.
We in paternity court, and I'm the judge, and in this courtroom.
Here comes a doozy to kick things off. Mr. House, a church pastor and bishop, is accused of potentially fathering a child with a woman 28 years his junior. The complexities of his role and personal life come into question as he navigates the allegations in court. Just wait, it's about to get even more tangled.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you.
Yes, Sean.
Did that just happen? Ms. Webster admits to her involvement with 3 different men during the time of her daughter's conception, including Mr. House. This revelation sets the stage for a tangled and emotionally charged legal dispute. Brace yourself, the next part is a jaw-dropper.
Ms. Webster, you admit you were involved 3 different men during the time you gave your daughter, including Mr. House.
Yes.
Can you believe this twist? Bishop House recounts the beginnings of his relationship with Ms. Webster, emphasizing his human needs despite his pastoral duties. This narrative sets a complex backdrop, blurring the lines between personal failings and pastoral responsibilities. Next up, we delve deeper into their scandalous connection.
It started with me leaving assignment that I had in Jacksonville, moving to Buffalo, New York, to take on a new assignment. But I'm also a man. I want to stress that right away, that I'm a man and I have manly needs. So it doesn't mean that I won't see a woman. I'm also a pastor. I met her. We began to talk. She went through a tragedy. She lost her mom. I went through tragedy. I lost my child.
The plot thickens substantially here. As the relationship details unravel, Bishop House contemplates a serious relationship with Ms. Webster, while she shares her perspective, highlighting a relationship that began under the guise of a church meeting but quickly turned personal and intimate. You won't want to miss what's coming up. It's a real cliffhanger.
We met at a church. It was supposed to have been like a Bible study thing, but instead of that, it was like more, it led on to sexual, unprotected sex.
I didn't meet her at a church. I met her at a fast food joint, exchanged the number.
That's wrong, Your Honor. We met at church.
Oh, the drama escalates. In a heated exchange, Bishop House refers to Ms. Webster with derogatory terms, prompting the judge to intervene and remind him of the decorum required in the courtroom, focusing on respect and proper conduct. Fasten your seatbelts. The courtroom is about to get even stormier.
Quickly, she became a hoochie, and that's what it was all about.
Excuse me, is that proper language to use for a young woman?
Well, you know, in Hosea chapter 4, God.
Not in Hosea chapter 4. We in paternity court, and I'm the judge, and in this courtroom, we're gonna respect when. Now, you can tell the story without calling her name.
And the twists keep coming. Mr. Miles Jones, another potential father, is introduced in the courtroom. His relationship with Ms. Webster adds another layer of complexity to the paternity case, as he details their initially casual connection that later became serious. Hang tight, the DNA results are up next, and they're a real game changer.
At first, it started off as casual sex, 2 to 3 weeks, and then I started catching feelings. You know, she told me that she started catching feelings also, so we made it.
So you decided to make it serious?
Yes.
But at some point, she started sleeping with Mr. House. Did you know that? You knew?
No.
The air is thick with anticipation. Ms. Webster describes the turmoil and confusion around her pregnancy announcement, highlighting the challenges she faced in communicating with Mr. House, who had disconnected his phone and moved away without knowledge of her pregnancy. The climax of this episode is right around the corner, and it's nothing short of explosive.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was trying to contact Mr. House. Phone was disconnected. First one, I never knew he left, and then I didn't even get in contact to tell him until after I had my baby. He denied her. He wanted a DNA test. He didn't want nothing to do with my baby. His money to be on full when I asked him for diapers around.
I had to buy them diapers. I'm the one that turned
No,
the phone
let me say
on.
this.
Everyone's glued to their seats now. The climactic moment of the episode unfolds as DNA test results are revealed. Mr. Miles Jones is declared not to be the father of the child, bringing a dramatic turn to the ongoing paternity mystery in the courtroom. Keep watching, the surprises aren't over yet.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of House v. Webster, Miles Jones, pertaining to whether Mr. House or Mr. Miles Jones, it has been determined that Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father.
The courtroom is on pins and needles.
In the case of House v. Webster, Miles Jones, as it pertains to Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
Get ready for a wild ride. Ms. Lusk, alongside her mother, is adamant that she knows who the biological father of her 3-year-old daughter, Samari, is without a shadow of a doubt. Unfortunately, the man she claims is the father has sadly passed away, creating a fiery showdown with his mother, Ms. Page, who is equally convinced that she is not Samari's grandmother. Courtroom is set for a heated debate over paternity that promises more twists and turns. Buckle up, because the next revelation is a doozy.
You and your mother say you have no doubt whatsoever when it comes to knowing who your 3-year-old daughter's father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
The man you claim is her father has died, and now find yourself facing off against his mother, who is just as convinced that she is not your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
This part is a real tearjerker. Ms. Lusk lays out her tough journey as a teenage single mother, having gotten pregnant at 16 and still managing to slog through school. She voices her frustration over the lack of support from the father's family, pointing out how unfairly life has treated her. Her emotional account not only paints a vivid picture of her struggles, but also highlights the absence of the father's family in her life. Strap in, the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Being pregnant at 16, having to still go through school. These past 4 years, everything has been on me and my mother. And I feel it's completely unfair because he has a whole other side. My daughter is beautiful, and you missed out on 4 years.
Everybody's a single parent. You're not the
absolutely
only one.
correct.
The air is thick with tension here. Ms. Lusk maintains that Ms. Page's late son is indeed the father of her child, sparking a fiery debate about motives involving money and insurance policies. Ms. Page throws accusations of financial greed at Ms. Lusk, who counters with a defense of her character. Their exchange peels back layers of deep-seated mistrust and conflicting narratives. Keep your eyes peeled. The upcoming scene ups the ante even further.
They're out for money. I had insurance on
What
my
money?
son. I had an insurance policy. They're out for
That we
money.
knew nothing about.
No, unless it's proven it's not my son's
You
baby.
never
I
posted
know
it on
anything
Facebook.
about-
Have an insurance policy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so this insurance policy, $50,000, you submitted that paperwork to the court.
You won't see this twist coming. Amidst a climactic revelation, Ms. Lusk recalls a personal encounter with Ms. Page, suggesting a previous meeting during her relationship with Ms. Page's son, which Ms. Page vehemently denies. This bombshell adds new layers of confusion and conflict to the already tumultuous proceedings, complicating the narrative about their relationship and the paternity issue. Fasten your seatbelts, because what happens next is even more jaw-dropping.
It was a normal time scheduled routine that I would actually come over there, and during certain periods, whether it was gym or my lunch period, I would go. The first time I actually saw you,
When you proclaimed you were pregnant, you was very petite, looking like an innocent child.
You
ma'am.
came
Same
to
way I
school
look
to
now.
see my child. Of course she wasn't shown. She was just pregnant.
Things just got a lot more complicated. The courtroom hears multiple claims of paternity linked to Ms. Page's son, with Ms. Lusk and Ms. Page slinging mud about the nature of these relationships and who really knew what. The judge steps in to untangle this knotty affair, trying to make sense of the accusations flying back and forth. The intrigue continues to build, and you won't believe what's coming up next.
The very first thing she said to me is, my son is a legend. My son has women coming out the woodwork. Had no reason to be doing whatever he was doing. And Your Honor, we have never asked
At all.
Once she suggested bringing over a used walker. She went into one of her little, oh, that ain't my grandbaby. Make sure you find your baby. And she's publicly putting it on Facebook.
This segment is like a soap opera. The role of social media in the dispute is dissected, with Ms. Page and Ms. Lusk accusing each other of airing dirty laundry online for all to see. Their fiery exchange showcases how the drama has exploded into the public domain, affecting not just their perceptions, but also their emotional well-being. The judge tries to steer the ship back to calmer waters, focusing on the child's welfare. Stay tuned, because the courtroom is about to reach boiling point.
Posting things about Miss Love on Facebook.
She inboxed, and me and her went back on Facebook.
You're absolutely
and
that,
as
Miss
far as
Page.
the stroller,
What up?
no,
what
I
led
didn't
up?
know anything about a stroller because I'm not providing a stroller a child
It
that I
wasn't
don't
a
even know.
stroller, it was a walker.
What?
Hold on to your popcorn. This is the big reveal. As everyone in the courtroom holds their breath, the DNA results are finally announced.
It has been determined by this court. The probability of relatedness between Miss Page and Samari Page is 99.96%.
Can you believe this? Shockingly, Ms. Martin accuses Mr. Dampier of being indifferent and cruel towards their 4-year-old daughter, Amia. She claims he refuses to accept paternity, which has fueled his negative behavior towards the child. The tension in the courtroom is palpable. Just wait until you see what's coming up next.
Say your ex, Mr. Dampier, is a cruel, petty little man, refuses to fully accept that he is the father of your 4-year-old daughter. Claim Mr. Dampier's callous indifference towards your daughter has gone on for far too long, and you intend paternity today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, the drama unfolds further. In a defiant response, Mr. Dampier expresses his doubt about being Amia's father, attributing his uncertainty to Ms. Martin's alleged infidelity. He claims that there is no way he could be the father, given the circumstances he describes. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what happens when we hear from Amia herself.
You say Miss Martin was a serial cheater with a stable of men in her rotation. You say you have evidence that proves Miss Martin stepping out on you, and there is no way you are Amaya's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your tissues. It's heart-wrenching as the court watches a video testimony by Amia where she expresses sadness over feeling unloved by Mr. Dampier. This moment highlights the emotional impact of the paternity dispute on the child. But hold on, the courtroom is about to get a reality check from Mr. Dampier's side of the story.
He treats my daughter like crap. He's also played favoritism. Amaya has told me on New Times that she's sad that her dad don't love her. Did a video testimony of how she felt.
And you submitted that to the court?
I did.
Dad is mean because he always makes me sad. I'm mad because my dad always makes me sad.
That's awful.
Yeah.
In a twist, trying to defend his actions, Mr. Dampier tries to justify his differential treatment of Amia by saying she is more disobedient than his other children, which he believes warrants a different approach. His reasoning is met with skepticism. Brace yourself for the evidential showdown that's about to take place.
Only reason why I treat her that way is Amaya's like more better. I got other kids, she's like disobedient, she misbehaves, so I gotta treat her accordingly. Like,
you're playing favorites because of your paternity doubt. You're not giving Amaya the attention and love that she needs and deserves.
As the plot thickens, Ms. Martin and Mr. Dampier discuss the evidence of infidelity, with Mr. Dampier presenting text messages that he believes prove Ms. Martin was unfaithful and further his doubt about paternity. The tension builds as the judge gears up to do some math. You won't want to miss what the conception calculator reveals.
Amber's a cheater. I got multiple reasons why I think I'm not the father. Always messaging guys. Like I said, I have for one instance, she came home late and I was messenger calling her, like didn't respond. When she come home, her hair all messed up, smelling like sex. I respond like, where you been at? She didn't have no proper excuse for where she been.
It's crunch time. In a crucial moment, Judge Lake uses a conception calculator to determine the possible dates of Amia's conception, correlating them with the timeline of Ms. Martin's alleged infidelity to assess the likelihood of Mr. Dampier being the father. Fasten your seatbelt. The DNA test results are about to drop.
Figure out if it is the same time. When was Amaya born?
2015.
2015. Then we'll press calculate. So if we go back to the text message exchange, the first set is January 3rd, and then the second set is January 29th. That is right in the window of conception.
Exactly.
I've never cheated on you, and you know that. Like, you are Amaya's dad.
You could cut the tension with a knife. With bated breath, the DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dampier, you are the father.
Exactly. Like, he knows that.
The room is buzzing as we kick things off. Judge Lake opens the court session by addressing Miss Parker's claim regarding the paternity of her 6-month-old son, Malachi. Miss Parker asserts that the relationship with Mr. Brown is faltering due to paternity doubts. You won't believe what's coming next? Strap in.
Miss Parker, your relationship is on the verge of ending. You're summoning your boyfriend, Mr. Brown, for paternity test to prove that he is your 6-month-old son, Malachi's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The atmosphere thickens with suspense. Mr. Brown admits to initially stepping up as a father, but expresses paternity doubts due to Miss Parker's behavior. He has also requested a lie detector test to address allegations of her infidelity. The pot's about to boil over. Just wait until you see what's stirred up next.
Mr. Brown, you say you stepped up when Malachi was born, but began to have paternity doubts Parker's scandalous behavior. To the paternity test, you've countersued for a lie detector test to the extent of her cheating.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Disbelief fills the air as Mr. Brown details their troubled relationship. The court delves into the trust issues between Miss Parker and Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown recounts how their relationship started well, but soon deteriorated due to Miss Parker's secretive actions, leading him to question her loyalty. Things are heating up, and it's about to get even hotter.
Well, when we first started, Your Honor, the relationship was good. We loved each other very much. Then later on, she just started doing things. I remember I called her, I couldn't contact with her. I don't know shit. I called her dad, he was at work.
Had a relationship and it was going well, and then she disappeared?
Yeah, just one day I decided to call, and I was like...
Yeah.
Hold on to your seats. This is a doozy. Miss Parker responds to accusations of her disappearance by asserting her need for freedom and independence from what she perceives as a smothering relationship, which Mr. Brown contests. The sparks are flying, and they're not slowing down anytime soon.
I was with my friend. He would not let me have no friends.
I didn't let you have no friends.
I cannot even step out my friends to go have a dinner.
So are you saying you got to a point in the relationship where you felt smothered?
Where I felt like I couldn't go nowhere. Where I felt like I stuck in the house 24/7. He just want to lay up under me, and I cannot go anywhere.
Are you serious?
Yes, Your Honor.
This exchange is as intense as it gets. Judge Lake tries to clarify the sequence of events that led to the breakdown of trust, focusing on a specific incident where Miss Parker went missing, which she attributes to feeling smothered. Things are about to get even more entangled, so keep watching.
You just didn't know where she was. You wanted to know where.
As a precaution, just in case something happened. I mean, I trust her, but it's just...
Was it a committed relationship?
Yes.
Parker, why do you get missing without saying, hey, babe, I'm...
Because I feel like he's insecure, because like I feel like he don't...
Insecure about what?
He would not let me go anywhere. I always have to be stuck in the house 24/7.
I didn't say you had to be stuck in the house, but take the baby some of the time.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more dramatic, Miss Parker describes how she discovered she was pregnant around Mr. Brown's birthday, and the subsequent doubts Mr. Brown had about the pregnancy due to the inexpensive test used. The saga continues, and it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Well, Your Honor, I got pregnant around his 25th birthday, and I told him I was pregnant. He said he didn't believe because it was a $1 pregnancy test. I went to Grady Memorial Hospital, and I confirmed I was pregnant. So I called him on the phone. He had a few minutes to talk. We talked about getting married, Your Honor. We talked about having other kids in the future. At the end of the day, I feel like he's insecure. He won't trust me.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats now. As Miss Parker recounts the birth of Malachi, Mr. Brown admits to being present during the delivery, but refrained from signing the birth certificate due to persistent doubts about the dates and his paternity. Buckle up. This ride's about to take a sharp turn.
So you were with her while the baby was born?
I was in the delivery room.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
I didn't sign the birth certificate.
Did you have a doubt?
Yes, a 50% doubt.
So you couldn't bring yourself to sign the birth certificate because you knew you had a doubt?
Then the dates, they're not adding up either.
What about the dates didn't add up?
Well, like she said, she got pregnant during June. The baby was born in January.
You'll need a moment to process this one. Miss Parker presents evidence to explain Malachi's premature birth, which she attributes to her health issues, attempting to clarify the timing concerns raised by Mr. Brown. What's revealed next is a game changer, so stay tuned.
My baby was premature because I had heart problems and I have high blood pressure, Your Honor, and I have evidence right here if you want to see, because my baby, and you can see as in his weight.
So this evidence is copies of your hospital discharge paper. It says that Malachi was born at 1,730 grams. So your testimony is that he was born early.
The plot thickens with every word. A discussion ensues about Miss Parker's relationships prior to Mr. Brown, which brings up potential doubts about Malachi's paternity due to the close timing of these relationships. The twists keep coming, and the next one is a doozy.
It really wasn't lasted. It was on and off. We just I'd probably say 3 days.
You're saying when you met Mr. Brown, you were exclusively with him?
Nobody. I ain't cheated on Mr. Brown. I was with Mr. Brown for 1 whole year.
Yeah, what about the days that you was going out when I told you no, don't?
But that doesn't mean I would.
Well, how do I know that?
This is the emotional peak. Grab a tissue. Miss Parker's brother, Larry Parker III, testifies, emphatically stating his belief in Mr. Brown's paternity and criticizing Mr. Brown's doubts as baseless and harmful to family unity. And just when you think you've seen it all, next moment will knock your socks off.
She has been with this man since day one. I have never seen her with anybody else. I have never seen her act like this. She is in love with this man. And for him to just put out there, you must be doing something. And it's time for him to just step up and be a man and just say, okay, that's my baby. I'm gonna be a father and I'm gonna do everything for her. It's time to work.
I just brought the baby on, boo.
Thank you.
The moment of truth arrives, and it's a jaw dropper. Judge Lake reveals the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not Malachi's father.
Can you believe this opener? Mr. Hunt officially requests a paternity test to determine if he is not the father of Ms. Tinsley's 3-year-old daughter, Jazia. He asserts that their relationship was short-lived and doubts his paternity due to the nature of their interactions. Just watch how this tension escalates. Things are just heating up.
You have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove that you are not father of Ms. Tinsley's 3-year-old daughter, Jazia.
Yes, sir.
Strap in, because this roller coaster is just leaving the station. Mr. Hunt accuses Ms. Tinsley of being a gold digger and asserts that her her claims of paternity are influenced by his local success as a rapper. Ms. Tinsley vehemently denies these accusations, maintaining that her only concern is her daughter's well-being. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what's coming next.
You say that she is a gold digger and that your relationship with claim that the defendant has defamed your character, and she is claiming you are the father of her baby only because you are a successful rapper in your home.
Yes,
Not at all.
Hang on to your seats. This ride is getting wild. Ms. Tinsley expresses her disinterest in Mr. Hunt's career and financial status, emphasizing her need for her daughter to have a father figure. She reveals a shift in her belief about the child's paternity following a DNA test on another man, which confirmed he was not the father, leading her to believe Mr. Hunt must be the father. Keep watching. The twists and turns get even crazier.
You state that you could care less about Mr. Hunt's rap career, his money, and your only concern is that your daughter grows up. You admit that you were confident another man was her father, previous DNA test, but now there is no question in your mind that Mr. Hunt is your daughter's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not ready for this curveball. The court delves into why Ms. Tinsley might claim Mr. Hunt as the father, despite his certainty of the contrary. Mr. Hunt describes his prominence in his city's music scene and labels Ms. Tinsley a groupie, which she denies. The accusations escalate. Wait till you see what's next.
I'm more, in my city where I'm from, I'm like the hottest rapper around, not to be sounding cocky, toot my own horn. Radios, I do shows for any major acts coming to the city. I'm doing my thing. She's a groupie. She's got nothing going for herself. She's dead broke.
I keep a job.
This part is absolutely jaw-dropping. The backstory of their relationship is questioned. They met on MySpace and connected in person in 2008. Ms. Tinsley insists their relationship involved several encounters. Contrary to Mr. Hunt's claim of a one-time hookup, you won't want to miss the bombshells about to drop.
On MySpace a long time ago, and then we originally met in person like in 08.
No, Yana, that's not how it happened. I found out about this. I met her a few years back, but I only hooked up with her one time.
That's a lie. We had sex several times.
One time. Several other guys. What about them?
I'm single. I don't got no man. I ain't married.
Just when you thought it was maxed out, the heat turns up. The conflict escalates as Ms. Tinsley confronts accusations of her character and intentions. Mr. Hunt recounts discovering a post on Facebook by Ms. Tinsley, putting him as the father next to their daughter's picture, escalating the public aspect of their dispute. The next moment is even more explosive. Brace for impact.
Jump off, Yana. She's a groupie. I found out about this chick when she came to me about the baby. Found out about it on Facebook over my mother. I seen it on the internet that she put my picture, put it next to her daughter. Put "You are the father." This was on the internet, Yana.
I sure did.
This is 3 years later too. Now let me get this right.
Absolutely mind-boggling how the plot thickens here. Ms. Tinsley clarifies the timeline of her accusations and her previous relationships, explaining the delay in naming Mr. Hunt as a potential father due to prior misconceptions about another man's paternity. And it only gets more twisted from here. Stay glued.
Because I thought another man was her dad. And I tested him and it came back negative. Okay, and you the next possibility because I was messing with you around the time I got pregnant.
You claim you had a one-night stand with Miss Tinsley. Contend you had sex more than one time.
At least
a sexual relationship that was ongoing.
It was like over
what kind of drugs are
a couple of months period.
But what you also admit to is that you were having sex with someone else during that very same time.
I was single.
This part will absolutely catch you off guard. The court discusses the impacts of Ms. Tinsley's actions on her child and her social standing, emphasizing the seriousness of her public claims regarding paternity. What comes next is something you have to see to believe. Prepare for a surprise.
You tested one man.
Yes, ma'am.
That was your child's father. Because that was your boyfriend at the time.
No, not at the time. It was just my ex-boyfriend. We were still kind of messing around.
He turned out not to be the father.
Yes, ma'am. And then before he even blood test came back, I told you, Marcus, I said, if the blood test come back negative, my ex-boyfriend, you the next possibility. Thanks, cool. Then people start finding out what was going on. Then that's when he thought he's a big rapper, which he ain't making no noise. You local, you not even know.
This confrontation is a total game changer. A dramatic revelation occurs as Mr. Hunt describes an alleged incident where Ms. Tinsley confronted him at a club with their daughter, accusing him of being a negligent father, which Ms. Tinsley denies. The story takes an even more dramatic turn next. Don't blink now.
I kid you not. She came to the club with the baby on her arm yelling, "You are the father. This is your baby. Why aren't you taking care of your baby? You're a deadbeat dad."
Miss Tinsley, you never.
I never had my baby.
Yana, not only the club though, Yana. She's coming to the studio. I'm with me and my friends, my partners. We leaving. She's showing up at the studio with this baby.
The stakes are sky high now. As the court proceedings draw near their conclusion, both parties express their frustrations and expectations about the paternity test, highlighting their emotional and social stakes in the outcome. Buckle up for the outcome and what happens next. This is going to be epic.
What is it that you want from this? You just want your child to know their father.
Yes, ma'am. I don't want nothing from him. My mama left me in the hospital when I was born.
born. I actually didn't even grow up with my mom. I grew up in foster care.
What would you like to know in terms of a child is yours?
If she's mine, I'm gonna take her my daughter. I would appreciate apology, something to
I do
leave
owe
me
you
alone.
an apology if she ain't yours.
When it comes to 3-year-old Josiah, Mr. Hunt, you are not her father.
Yeah, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Strap in for a wild ride from the get-go. Ms. Myers drags her mother, Ms. Madrigal, into court over the dad debacle. It turns out Ms. Myers is wrestling with a baffling list of 13 possible dads, courtesy of Mom's adventurous past. This isn't your typical family feud. Buckle up, the drama's just heating up.
Ms. Myers, you have brought your mother to court today because you claim she has no idea who your biological father is. You say your mother gave you a list of 13 possible men, and you are hoping to determine who father is today.
Can you believe this twist? Ms. Myers spills the beans on her rocky teenage years and the void left by a father figure who passed away too soon. Her mom's slow drip of dad candidates over the years only added to the chaos. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes as she digs into her past.
When I was 13 years old, I had a father figure in my life. He died at that age, and when he died, I needed somebody to be there.
The feels are real here. Ms. Myers opens up about the emotional gymnastics of not knowing her dad. Imagine juggling feelings of loss and identity while guessing which dad might be yours. The emotional reveal up next is a doozy.
And so at 13 years old, how did you find out that there were potentially 13 different men that could be your father?
The list came from my mom telling me over approximately a year, maybe a little longer. She would always just say, here's a name. I think to her, it seemed like it was a joke.
Get ready for some serious nail biting. The spotlight turns to the nerve-wracking wait for the paternity test results. Ms. Myers is a bundle of nerves, hoping the test will end her lifelong fatherhood scavenger hunt. Fasten your seatbelt. The results are about to make a splash.
It's time to find out the results.
It is.
There have been 2 men that have been tested, and we have 11 others in question. It very well may be that one of these 2 gentlemen be your father. So this is to see if Mr. Derek Smith is in fact the father of Ms. Myers. The DNA test results show that Mr. Smith are not Monica's father.
I'd have to hear that.
Grab your popcorn. Here comes the big reveal. The air is thick with anticipation as the paternity test results are disclosed.
When it comes to Ms. Monica Myers, Mr. Keith McCraney, it has been determined by this court that you are the father.
There it is.